and Dennis, your hosts, on a journey into the darkness on the edge of town.
Woo-hoo! We in for a hoedown tonight, son.
Okay.
We're doing a little country western earworm music throughout the evening, Tim. Country and western.
Both, I guess.
Yes,
yeah,
we're going to play that tonight.
It's a 2-for-1 deal.
Mixing it up. And by the way, folks, fair warning, if you send either one of us an email that says, like, earworm country music or anything, we're not even reading them. These are from our own demented minds.
Right.
We're sure you have your own ideas. The whole idea is this is a look inside the minds of Darkness Dave and Tender Love and Tim.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, like that one. I figured you might finally fit for that one. But that's what we're doing is we're sharing with you the demented minds that we have to share. So that's what we're doing. If you want to be a part of our little fun, you can listen in and do it. But we don't need you to send us any more stories or songs.
Yeah.
No, none. Don't do it. We appreciate it, though. Thank you very much for thinking of us. But we're going to handle it from here on out. Fair enough, Tim?
That's fair with me.
I mean, do you think you can handle it by yourself?
I think I can, yeah. I'm pretty sure. You know, even though, Dave, I will tell people out there, I did 3 years in country radio, and it was my version of hell.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why this one was kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
I thought if we could come at it and muck about with you, your favorite genre of music,
Oh, God.
then this would be the way to do it.
I think favorite's kind of stretching it.
Oh, no, I know what it's truthful. That's the whole idea, though, is earworm music. It's forcing you to relive those memories, Tim.
Thank you. I
Yeah, well, I'm
appreciate
all about helping you relive your memories.
I'm just stuck on it. To me, this is like
Stuck on you.
This is like torture you want to perform on somebody. I'm really torn as to what forms of torture I want to use.
I got you.
There's only so many breaks, and with only so many breaks, you got to be able to pull out your torture tools and say, look somebody in the eye and say, listen here, I'm going to give it to you so bad you're going to scream for hours.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Wait, that didn't sound right either.
But that's the beauty of it, to have to pare down all of those choices,
Right?
all of those musical choices into 3 for the first hour.
Oh, I know.
And then 3 for the second hour. So you go first in the first hour.
Okay.
I'll go in the second hour. Then in the last hour, it's an anything goes hour. Last year we did like Armageddon earworms. So we really came up with one. I've got one, which I have to admit is almost embarrassing, but it's one that it plays in my mind. And if I'm not careful and I trigger it, I'm stuck with it for a month. And it hit me today.
Yeah.
So I figured if I'm stuck with it, you're stuck with it. Everybody out there.
I may go with a theme tonight in that third hour.
Really?
I have
theme. You get one song.
Well, I know, but I'm saying it's going to match your theme in a way, and you'll see.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. The minute I saw this story that's in front of me, and I saw the one you want for the third hour, I came up with it instantaneously.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, let's get started, shall we?
All right. Well, normally this isn't a story I'd lead with, Dave, but she's here in town tonight. She's performing over at TCF Bank Stadium, or is it her clone?
What?
Yeah.
Bring in the clones.
I love that song.
Yeah.
I weep silently when I hear it. Yeah.
I weep out loud. For people just tuning in, Supernatural News Night, it's not just earworm music. It's also Supernatural News, and we're going to be doing some PARASHARE later on in the show where you can call in and share your own personal encounters in the strange and the supernatural. All right, Tim, let's go into the world of supernatural news. You're saying that there may be a massive cloned celebrity amongst us in the Twin Cities tonight?
That's right, Dave.
What's going on?
She's over at TCF Bank Stadium right now. She's on the stage, and her name is Beyonce. That's right, Dave. That is right.
What?
Over the years, many conspiracy theories have come forward. We all know about Courtney Love murdering Kurt Cobain. Allegedly.
Wow. Allegedly, Tim.
George Bush did 9/11. Allegedly.
Wait, really?
Well, that's the theory. That's a conspiracy theory. Yeah.
Well, he's a busy man.
And of course, there's the one I love. The moon landing was fake. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
And most recently, that Louis Tomlinson's baby is fake.
Who?
Louis Tomlinson? I don't know.
Who?
Louis Tomlinson? I don't know.
Okay.
I got no idea. But none of those are not anywhere near as important as this, Dave. This one is going to shock people. It says, wake the bleeping bleep up, people. Beyonce died in 2000 and was cloned. The current Beyonce is a bleeping imposter. That's what it says in the story,
Is she really
Dave.
Dolly the sheep and she's just been shorn and taught to sing?
Well, as a matter of fact, Dave, she is.
Wow.
You know, if we were going to clone a singer, I would think Aaliyah, who died back in the early 2000s. I think she should be the one we clone, but I guess we did it with Beyonce.
Well, people love Beyonce, Tim.
Oh, they do. Here's how the conspiracy theory goes, Dave. It's sweeping the internet. It's all the rage with the kids these days. So Beyonce's talent wouldn't be wasted after her death. Her producers decided to get their hands on a few stem cells and perfect human cloning so that her music could live on, Dave.
Makes sense. Yeah. Makes sense.
Lucky they did.
Are we sure she didn't die when she appeared in the Austin Powers movie?
She might have.
I think that killed her career for acting.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Although she could be like a Diana Ross and rise again only to make more bad movies.
That could be.
Right. Lucky they did that, as Beyonce apparently died over a decade and a half ago, Dave, and has been cloned multiple times since.
Oh, really? So this is like that Multiplicity movie with Michael Keaton, where they just keep whipping out clones of Beyonce?
I guess so. But here's my conundrum about the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
Does Jay-Z get to test drive each clone that
Apparently,
they make?
yeah. He signed on for the deal.
Interesting.
And when you sign on for the deal, Tim.
You sign on for the deal.
Uh-huh.
Right. Seem too far-fetched to you? Well, family, you ain't seen the evidence yet.
You ain't seen nothing yet, baby. Yeah.
Not the right John. Oh. Becky with the good hair, Beyonce clone. Just saying.
What?
Sasha Fierce, not an alter ego, just another Beyonce clone.
It is making less and less sense the more you speak.
It really is. This woman acting strange at a basketball game with a link, Beyonce blanking clone, it says.
Wow.
Yeah. There is a video out there. You can put in dead celebrities in the Illuminati video to get the full unequivocal proof.
Right.
Oh, my God. Obviously, Dave, obviously, it's all the information you need.
Well, if you say so.
Well, unless you take into account that anyone's appearance can change in 16 years, of course.
No.
Well, yeah.
Not Keanu Reeves.
No, he looks the same, doesn't he?
Keanu
Just
Reeves.
a little older.
Brad Pitt?
No, well, no, Brad Pitt's appearance has changed.
Who are the other ones that they always say are vampires?
Nicolas Cage. He never changes.
Yeah, he's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Of course, allegedly. Of course, someone's going to change over 16 years, folks. It's
not me, baby.
Not you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're the other one.
You know what? If we look at our pictures from when we started the show to today, aside from a little bit more gray in the beard, I don't think they look a whole hell of a lot different than what we are.
They don't. No.
No. Bam.
You're right.
We entered into the darkness, son.
Well, it's that Illuminati deal we made.
Well, and all the souls we swallow.
Yeah. Well,
there's that.
You got to have a hobby. Everybody needs a hobby.
Right.
Yeah.
Souls.
Oh, they're delicious.
Okay.
They're like Twinkies.
So is that it?
That's it for that. You can check out the video online. Just put in dead celebrities and Illuminati in YouTube and go crazy. Go crazy.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We've got more supernatural news with me, Darkness Dave, and that guy. What did I call you? Tender Lovin' Tim?
Yes, you did.
Wow,
yeah.
Tender Lovin' Tim. That's your new nickname. I think. I want to see a tattoo that says TLT on your knuckles.
No.
Do it.
That's not gangsta,
Do
Dave.
it. It's
not gangsta at all.
I don't know about that. Yeah. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back with more right after this. To it. How it got stuck in my mind. Because it's what I sing to my kids all the time.
Oh, yeah?
When they bother me for stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good one.
Yeah, isn't it?
My mom used to sing, what's the song? It's the way they used to use it. It's Too Late, Baby. That's what it is.
Yes.
She used to sing that one to me. Yeah.
It's too late, baby. All right, let's get back to it. Supernatural news with Mr. Tim Dennis. Tim, where are we going next?
Well, interestingly,
we've already talked. It's pretty high. I'm not going to lie. I think you may have peaked early.
I might have.
When you start talking about cloned Beyonce straight out of the chute.
Well, I'm a controversial guy like that.
Mm-hmm.
This one, Dave, I kind of took a look at this story and I went, man, this has to come out early. Mainly because we want to warn people who have sent emails for PARASHARE Monday that they better have their P's and Q's right. They better have their I's dotted, their T's crossed.
Their I's deeded?
Yes, their I's deeded.
You want them I's deeded, damn
I'm
it.
so nervous to have this properly correct that I'm fumbling over myself. You want to have proper grammar and spelling. You want to have it in paragraph form, not paragraph. Yeah. See, I'm so nervous about this. Yes. These people, I think, Dave, if they
what do you
had
mean
to,
by these people, Tim?
These people in this story, if they had to submit their artwork to you,
yes,
I think you would come down on them harder than Simon Cowell comes down on most singers. Yeah.
Really? All right, let me hear what you got.
An alien has fallen from the sky to walk around town. People try to draw it with ridiculous results. They've tried to, because they couldn't get a picture evidently, tried to draw it for for MUFON and for other investigators.
Okay.
Although the drawings are just silly, Dave. They're just plain silly.
Are they just plain silly?
Just plain silly.
All right.
Reports suggest that an alien dropped out of a UFO, but soon retreated to its craft when it was spotted by residents.
Gotcha.
Astonished residents have produced their own depiction of an alien
Mm-hmm.
they believe dropped out of a UFO and started walking around their neighborhood. The bizarre creature allegedly landed near El Dorado, a small town in Argentina, and walked through the area.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
Oh, you're supposed
You
to
were supposed to have been immortal.
That's all she wanted.
Not much to ask for. This is the Chicago version of the Veter.
A Veter.
A Veter.
It was
I kept my promise. You's kept your distance.
It's such a touching blue-collar version, too. Yeah. So this UFO landed near El Dorado, small town in Argentina.
Sure.
And then the alien just decided to go for a walk around the area, just to check stuff out.
Why not?
Just to see the town.
I mean, he's in town. There's probably some really good tostadas in town in El Dorado.
Maybe.
Yeah.
When it was spotted by people living in the area, the supposed extraterrestrial creature then retreated back to its craft, according to local news reports. Students in the area spotted the creature and produced their own depiction with pen and paper. God love them. If the picture's anything to go by, the alien appears to be wearing a pair of trousers.
What kind of alien would just walk around with his dangling participles?
Yeah, well,
yeah,
not many. Whether they're hanging or sagging is up to the alien, depending on age, I guess.
Is that how it is?
Yeah, and seems quite happy with a smile plastered across its face. So he was happy to be walking around in just trousers.
Yeah.
A female witness told...
Probably also fitting in if it's down south. All that heat.
Well,
no, I mean, you
you
sweat. It's so thick and
yeah.
I'd walk around without my shirt on and just my trousers.
I could see that. Yeah. A female witness told Inexplicata News. Bless me.
Inexplicata.
All right. Something came down, straight down.
Ooh.
A light came straight down, more or less, and they say it lost itself in that tree. It tried to get into that house over there.
What?
I think she means a creature.
Okay.
Another woman added a very loud sound was heard. All the signals went out. There was no way to record that sound. Suddenly it fell down and disappeared. I don't know what it could have been. Other witnesses describe a strange pair of eyes looking out from behind a tree. One woman said it was small and gooey.
What?
I guess she got close enough to find out.
I guess.
It extended its arm and climbed a tree like a monkey. That's when all the neighbors came out and nothing could be found. It is believed that the alien was spotted around 10 p.m. local time on May 20th. Now, according to UFO Sightings Daily, the subject of every alien story we ever read.
Scott Waring.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is highly unusual and has not happened very often, except except in secluded areas with small populations.
See, I believe the story because if he was walking around in like trousers and a wife beater, I would call BS and shenanigans
and
on that.
And if he's small and gooey, it's probably from the humidity.
That could be.
You know, you're that close to the equator.
That one. What you call that there?
Equator? Equator. Equator, Dave.
Got one of them there equators, Tim.
Right down there by the equator.
That's right.
We are country and western bumper.
We are.
I kind of have to fit in. Last time was at an elementary school in Africa.
Really?
Last gooey small alien with trousers, I guess. Yeah.
Well,
for aliens to risk their safety by walking around and examining the area, there must be something important about to happen in that area. Like Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They calculate the risks, and if the risks are too high, they don't do it. For them to do this, something more important than their own lives was at stake here.
Our bathroom was backed up on the ship, and we needed a place to poop.
So they picked Argentina.
Quick, pull over. They won't notice the smell.
Oh, really?
Submit your emails to ArgentinaHater at darknessradio.com.
Send them to Don't Cry For Me Argentina at darknessradio.com.
Right. You could. That story.
I popped myself that time. Did you hear that?
I see that.
All right.
Good for you. You should do that on occasion. Just pop yourself and relieve the pressure.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where should we go next?
Probably to hell, Tim. That's all I can think
We
of.
can go somewhere closer than that.
All right. Where are we going?
Let's talk afterlife since you brought it up.
All right.
Scientists have finally proven that there is life after death.
Thank God.
But we might not be going to heaven, Dave.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's
Wait,
according to this story.
Okay.
A team of British researchers have confirmed that consciousness can go on when someone dies, but the study also uncovered some disturbing aspects. That's my ghetto slang of the so-called afterlife.
Right.
The scientists looked at the cases of over 2,000 people and have established that thoughts continue on after the heart stops beating. They found that those who experience some...
Well, didn't Celine Dion already told us that our hearts go on?
Yeah, I don't know why this is big news. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
I almost burst into the Whitney Houston song instead because I can't think of the Celine Dion tune.
And I Will Always Love You.
Yeah, I know. Hearts Go On. I was going to jump into I Will Always Love You.
Yeah. God, that would be...
I will, though, Tim.
I'm not going to pick that song, but that would be a good earworm, especially for Dolly Parton's version.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not going to do that.
You could do it another night. There's no holding back.
No, that's true. That's true. They found that those who experience some awareness, only 2% said that their experience was consistent with the feeling of an outer body experience. Well,
an outer body?
An outer body
Did you
experience.
get one of them there outer body experiences, Tim?
Not very often. Nope. Where an individual is completely aware and can hear and see what's going on around them when their heart stops beating. A more troubling discovery was that nearly half of the respondents said that the experience was not of awareness, but of overpowering fear. Oh, great. You got that to look forward to.
Jeez, Tim, I'm not going to sleep tonight because of this story.
No, you're good. You're good.
No, it said we're not going to heaven.
No, but there's another place here. Trust me. It's kind of like...
There ain't no beer in heaven.
It's kind of like where the Enterprise went when it took off.
I'm going to hang out there anyway.
While undertaking the research, the scientists uncovered what may be the first proven case of a patient's out-of-body experience. The work carried out by the University of Southampton has revealed that people still experience awareness for up to 3 minutes after they had been pronounced dead.
How do they know?
I think they timed it with a stopwatch in the afterlife. Yeah. Like the 60 Minutes flag. Yeah.
Seriously, how do they know?
I had no idea.
Is it because the last thing consciously they remember took place 3 minutes after? So are they taking copious notes for the first 3 minutes of death to see if people remember anything after it and then try to bring them back? Too many questions.
Yeah. I didn't do the research. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Head researcher Dr. Sam Parnia told the Daily Express, I'm a big fan of his work, by the way.
Good guy.
Yeah, he is. Contrary to perception, death is not a specific moment, but a potentially reversible process that occurs after any severe illness or accident causes the heart, lungs, and brain to cease functioning. If attempts are made to reverse this process, it is referred to as cardiac arrest. However, if these attempts do not succeed, it is called death.
Yes.
There's the most obvious statement I'll read all night.
You call it corn. We call it death.
One of the most significant findings of the work involved a 57-year-old man who could be the very first confirmed outer body experience in a human. The patient could remember with pinpoint accuracy events going on around his body after he had died. Dr. Parnia added, this is significant since it's often been assumed that experiences in relation to death are likely hallucinations or illusions occurring either before the heart stops
illusion.
Or after the heart has been successfully restarted, but not an experience corresponding with real events when the heart isn't beating. Despite those great scenes... So
what you're saying is that they're looking for a
heartbeat, Dave. Yeah. It's too bad it's not country.
It doesn't matter. It's country in my heart.
Matter.
He's looking for a heartbeat.
Oh, Don Johnson did get kind of country in Machete.
He's broke. I just read an article today.
Is he?
Don Johnson, you got to hit the old one-hit wonder trail.
You'd think with all the royalties he got from Heartbeat, he'd be rolling in dough.
Yeah.
Who'd
I think he was rolling too many other things, if you know what I mean.
Might have been. Despite those great scenes in horror flicks where a sheeted body sits upright on the autopsy table, the answer is no. However, it says here, air trapped in the lungs may escape and in the process can vibrate the vocal cords to produce that's the wrong end, by the way, to produce a chilling post-mortem sigh. Funeral director Randy L. Goldie, a certified celebrant licensed in New Jersey.
That's easy for you not to say.
Also reports that when a body is positioned with its hands on the abdomen, an arm may accidentally fall and strike the unsuspecting embalmer from behind. So you get a little slap on the ass from the dead. Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Other than that...
what are they going to do, get mad at you?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm dead. Sorry.
Other than that, the deceased don't get around much. If dead people move, says Goldie, I would have become an accountant. In this case, consciousness and awareness appear to occur during a 3-minute period when there is no heartbeat. You go ahead and do it real quick.
Heartbeat!
There you go.
They were looking for a heartbeat!
That they were.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the Kool-Aid Man?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Huh.
That's ridiculous.
In this case, consciousness and awareness appeared to occur during that 3-minute period. This is paradoxical. It's paradoxical. There's an extra syllable there, since the brain typically ceases functioning within 20 to 30 seconds of the heart stopping and doesn't resume again until the heart has been restarted. Furthermore, the detailed recollection of visual awareness in this case was consistent with verified events. Of the 2,060 patients involved in the research who had survived cardiac arrest, almost 40% said that they recall some form of awareness after being pronounced clinically dead. In a separate study, a team of German psychologists and medical doctors also claimed to have proven by clinical experimentation the existence of some form of life after death.
Well, we think we might have found something about it, but we're not too sure.
Using a new type of medically supervised near-death experience that allowed patients to be clinically dead for almost 20 minutes after being brought back to life. 20 minutes, Dave. How would you like to be out of it for just dead for 20 minutes and then come back?
Sometimes I've been out of it for 3 hours on the show.
Well,
brain dead.
You and me both, brother. That's it for that story.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Let's take a break. When we come back, more country western earworms. Tim's Choice, next on Darkness Radio. A little bit later on in the show, we'll do some PARASHARE. That's your chance to call in and share your encounters with the strange and the supernatural. You can do that at the top of the hour. 651-989-5855. 651-989-5855. All right, Tim, where are we going next in the world of supernatural news?
I suppose we can talk about ghosties for a minute.
Yes, bring it on.
There's a picture of what's supposed to be the ghost of a French queen walking around the halls of a castle in Norfolk.
Okay.
Not Virginia, but overseas in England. Yeah.
There weren't many queens in Norfolk, Virginia.
Not many castles in Norfolk, Virginia.
Actually, a couple.
Are there?
Yeah.
Castles?
Castles.
In Norfolk, Virginia?
Watch the way you say that, son.
I'm just saying.
Uh-huh.
A spooky figure believed to be Queen Isabella, known as the She-Wolf of France, has been caught on camera by ghost hunters in the ruins of an English castle. The haunting image was snapped at the ruined medieval castle rising in Norfolk, where the Queen spent much of her time during the last 30 years of her life in the mid-1300s. Paranormal investigator Andy, that's just how he's known.
Andy over in France?
Yeah.
Hello, I am paranormal investigator Andy.
Well, I think he's British.
Oh.
Right.
Hello, I'm paranormal investigator Andy.
There you go.
Here looking for the French Queen.
Oh, really, Commander?
Quite.
Leader of the Essex Ghost Hunting.
You paid for a French Queen in New Orleans.
I did, yes, and boy, did I get a surprise when I went hunting.
You did.
Yeah.
Was her name Lola?
Her name was Lola. Yeah.
Lola, Lola?
Okay. Paranormal investigator Andy is the leader of the Essex Ghost Hunting team and said he has heard sounds of a long dress swishing along the stairs outside the room.
It sounds something like this. Swish, swish.
I think he probably should just look down. He's probably wearing it.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
Andy, you can send your emails to tim@darknessradio.com.
It's not a skirt. It's just a long kilt.
Oh.
He can tell himself that. Yeah. So it's swishing along the stairs outside the room moments before the picture was taken. The 54-year-old from, I believe it's Witham, Essex? Witham, Essex. Good Lord. Snapped the eerie image in the white room with black curtains.
In the white room with black curtains.
By the station. One of the upper chambers thought to be haunted by the Queen, who was the wife of Edward II. It shows the shadowy figure of a woman in a dog-like shape at her feet.
Really?
That would be her
She
servant,
was into
I'm
some
sure.
kinky stuff.
You know, right? With
Hello, he's good for you, no? Huh?
a ball gag and a leash is what that thing has on it. Andy, who didn't reveal his surname because, by gosh, we'd all hit him up, I guess. I don't know. Said the team even heard the sound of a wolf howling several times throughout the night, but their voice recorders did not pick up any sound. Probably because they had bad recorders. He recalled, I was in the white room with black curtains, which is a lovely room, thought to be where she spent a lot of her time sewing and so on, and so on, and so on. There were around 7 of us in the room at the time. My friend turned to me and whispered, can you hear anything? So I listened carefully, and it sounded just like the sound of a long dress swishing over the stones,
Swish, swish.
coming up the stairway outside.
She's swishing over the stones?
Yes.
Hello, Keith. What's that sound?
I believe they're swishing over us, Mick.
Is her dress made of corduroy?
I barely pay attention to where I am right now.
Good God. Who needs margaritas?
Right.
No sleep seems to have the same effect.
It does. I decided to take a picture to see what I might capture, and then realized that there was what appeared to be a figure stood in the middle of the room. When I looked at it on the small lens, I didn't initially think much of it. It was definitely interesting, and I showed everyone, but it wasn't until later when we looked at the picture on a computer and I realized just what I had caught on camera.
I was looking at the small lens and didn't think much of it.
Right. But if you're looking at the big lens, then by gosh, you're a little too close. Huh?
All right.
There's a clear figure that from the clothing in the shoulder pads looks like a football player. Yeah. No, it looks like someone wearing a medieval dress. They even look to have something on their head like a queen might wear. I think they call it a tiara or a crown.
Could be.
Or a party hat.
Yeah.
Definitely a happy birthday hat, I'm sure. But what is most striking is the fact that there's a dog-like shape at her feet. It is very clear in considering that she was known as the Wolf Queen. It made everyone think that what I had captured could have been the ghost of Queen Isabella. Isabella! Right. There was a lot of excitement that night when people saw the picture. Everyone was talking.
Got to stop smoking.
Yeah. Everyone was talking about it as it was quite striking. Isabella's ghost has been long rumored to haunt the upper floors of the castle. The picture was taken using a full spectrum camera used regularly by ghost hunters as they allow the photographer to capture infrared light similar to night vision. It was captured during a late-night investigation of the castle in April 2015, which lasted from around 7 p.m. until 3 a.m., at which time they had milk and cookies and went night-night. Andy, who has been a paranormal investigator for over 30 years, sent the picture to the former head custodian of Castle Rising. That would be Norman Fahey.
It's like a castle rising. It's Norman Bates? What'd you say?
Norman Fahey.
Oh.
Dave. Norman Fahey. Yeah, sorry, I stepped on your touchdown call.
No, I'm with you. It was good.
As you were waxing nostalgic about
Pardon
Castle
me?
Rising.
Wow.
Who inspected the image and could find no evidence of tampering. He said, there's no tampering here!
Back to the loch with you, Nessie.
He explained, I was not scared by what I captured on the camera. When I am doing an investigation, there's a lot of adrenaline, so it is more exciting than anything. My aim with our paranormal investigations is to find proof of life after death, and at the end of the day, this is just a picture. It is evidence to a degree, but it is not clear, so I do not take it as the proof I am looking for. Oh, way to be...
This is not the proof you were looking for.
Skeptical Andy.
That's right.
It's a new kids series on Nickelodeon. However, it is a very, very exciting image to capture and has provoked a lot of debate amongst the ghost hunting community. So I was very pleased to get it. There's no explanation for what caused the figure to appear in our mind, none whatsoever. We doubt every image like this and are always skeptical from the outset. We all dismissed it at first, but once we saw the level of detail in the figure and the wolf, everyone went crazy. Many people said it was the best potential ghost capture that they had ever seen.
Nice.
There you go.
Fancy.
Very fancy. Very fancy indeed.
All right, let's take a break so we can come back quickly into Tim's last country music earworm of the evening.
I'm so conflicted.
And some more supernatural news right after this. Encore presentation.
It's Memorial Day.
Right, yeah. Memorial Day, so we won't be here. But next time we're in live, I think we should do the 90s.
Oh, the 90s.
Yeah, because that's one I'm going to have to stretch. I'm going to have to think about it.
Yeah?
Sometimes I like to push myself, Tim.
Huh.
Yeah. Pull myself, push myself.
Like
I
push
want to
it
get
real good, Dave?
Yeah. Push it real good.
That's 80s, so you can use that.
That's right. Yeah. All right. Now, I don't know. I just went into a little like James Brown there, I think.
He did.
All right. Supernatural news, Timothy.
Yes.
I'll tell you what. Why don't you do this? I know that you had one more song in mind, too. Why don't you go out on that song at the end of this hour?
Oh.
Yeah, that way you get one more country western earworm. Why?
I like that.
I like you, Tim.
Yeah,
I don't know if you figured that out. I kind of like you.
You do? You like me? You really like me?
No, I'm over it.
All right.
All right, go ahead.
All right, let's see. We're going to go to Spain, evidently, where students at the University of Barberán and Colin in Spain will take a seminar called The Evil with an expert priest. Shouldn't that just be relations?
It could be.
Like a relationship course? I think so. University in Spain will force its students to attend a course on exorcisms. The University College of Barberán and Colin has made attendance at the lecture called The Evil compulsory for its 196 students. The bizarre course will be led by Roman Catholic priest Jose Antonio Fortia Cucurell? There you go. Believed to be an expert on the controversial practice. It will cover fields related to the devil, exorcisms, and being possessed, and hell. You don't want to forget about hell if you're doing an exorcism course. It was reported by the newspaper El Diario. as opposed to what most people get when they have loose bowels. Yeah. Father Cookerell, has previously written a manual on exorcism, but the priest made headlines in 2010 when he defended the Vatican after the Pope's chief exorcist claimed that child sex abuse scandals rocking the church were evidence of the devil's presence there. And the move is believed to have angered some of the student body, although no one has yet lodged a complaint or attempted to be excused. The college is connected to Complutense University of Madrid. That must be like Globe University here, and is funded by Spain's defense ministry. Exorcisms are not associated solely with Catholicism.
Or Catholicisms.
Yeah, Catholicisms.
It's Catholicisms.
Well, maybe I had a little margarita Monday before we started. But we're made famous by the 1973 film The Exorcist, in which a Catholic priest attempts to cast out a demon possessing a teenage girl.
I haven't seen that. Is it good?
I hear it is. Yeah, I hear it. It's. Some
I'm
people
kidding.
call it a classic.
Don't start jumping on me. Of course, I've seen it
once or twice.
All right.
Speaking of hell,
I
don't know why my voice is cracking so much.
Thanks, Peter Brady.
Yeah, speaking of hell,
when it's time to change,
a sky-high horror of a giant tarantula kind.
Oh, horror.
Although with 8 legs, you could do some work. I'm just saying. A tarantula broke loose on a plane, terrorizing passengers by crawling up their legs. So if you're a big fan of spiders, you're going to love this next story. Cabin crew members were said to be at a loss over how to catch the hairy arachnids. Oh, there's more than one.
Shoot them.
I don't think you want to shoot them with the bullets going through the hull. Which measured
a beautiful bunch of a ripe banana. Do 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 do. Don't they hide the 3 deadly black tarantulas? I think that's part of the song, man.
Is it?
Yeah. You think I'd be wrong about that?
I don't know. I don't sit around listening.
7 foot, 8 foot bunch. We should use that on an earworm night. That'll screw with people. Yeah.
Yes, it would.
All right. So there's tarantulas.
Yep.
I'm tired of these MFing tarantulas on this MFing plane.
Right. They were measured between 10 and 20 centimeters in diameter.
No.
We don't know what that is in English, by the way.
I think that's $1.50.
Is it? Okay, good. As they ran riot beneath the seats. They ran riot, Dave.
Yeah.
They ran roughshod.
Yep.
Terrified passengers on board an air transit jet were left screaming and standing on their seats after 2 tarantulas ran amok during the flight.
1960s cartoon characters jumping on the seats and screaming?
Yeah, I think so, yes. The commercial plane was flying from Punta Cana to Montreal. Punta Cana. Yep. To Montreal on April 18th when the spiders were spotted on the loose, sending everyone on board into a panic. When crew members realized that the large hairy spiders, which ranged from 10 to 20 centimeters, again, we don't know what that is in English, were running rampant. And please don't call us and tell us.
Somebody
joking. We're joking. We're joking. People.
You are. I don't know how many centimeters equals a foot.
10 to 20.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, they're about a foot long. Yeah, like Subway. They advised travelers to put their shoes on and cover their ankles. I do that quite as well with passengers on a plane, but there's another reason.
If you could please just tuck your pant legs into your socks for the rest of this flight. You're going to thank me for it later, folks.
Cabin crew members were said to be at a loss over how to catch the arachnids as they ran riot between the seats.
Shoot them! Shoot them!
How about scoop them up into a cup?
Shoot them!
That's a good one. Give them a drink. Get them drunk. One petrified passenger told of the grim moment when one of the huge 8-legged beasts mounted her leg and crawled onto her skirt.
Oh, I like your leg. It's very beautiful. Do you mind if I mount it? I am nothing more than a spider that loves your leg.
Catherine Moreau and the island of Spidery Moreau, who was traveling home to Repentigny, I believe it is, in Montreal, Canada. It's in Canada. You'll figure it out. It's near the Texas border.
No,
that's not Canada.
No, it's not.
No. It was... that's close. I think that is the national anthem of Montreal. It was at the time of a meal, Moreau said. My daughter cried and she was in shock. Luckily, the spiders, which were discovered towards the end of the flight, were both captured. One was caught by Catherine Moreau's husband with a plastic bag during a flight. There's a guy that makes sense.
Yeah.
While the second was recovered by a federal agent once the plane landed at Montreal Trudeau Airport. Really, everybody just stood up screaming until they got to Montreal Trudeau Airport. They didn't think, oh, you know what? The plastic bag worked once. Let's find another one.
No.
Tarantulas from the Dominican Republic are not life-threatening, however. Passengers on board the flight were unaware of the spider's breed.
Your plane ride has been very, very good to me. Yeah.
The massive spiders, of which there are around 900 species, are venomous, but it is not known to be fatal to humans. Just hurts a lot.
Yeah.
They're known
stingy
to be
and bitey.
Right. They're known to be aggressive, however.
With two of the other dwarves nobody ever talks about.
Well,
stingy and bitey.
They were a little controversial.
Hi-ho.
They were known to be aggressive, however, with some species known to feast on birds. So if you had a bird on the flight, you were screwed.
Yeah.
Stephen Normandine.
I got your bird.
An entomologist.
Let's see him feast on this.
An entomologist from, I got to get this ready here, from Montreal University said a passenger had probably hidden the spider in his luggage, possibly to sell in Canada, because we know about how much they're popular in Canada. He said the market for live tarantulas is very lucrative. Oh, my God, I couldn't get that out.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the best in paranormal talk radio, Darkness Radio Live on a PARASHARE Monday. We'd love to hear from you if you have stories in the paranormal, your own encounters with ghosts or witches, demons, Ouija boards, shadow people. We want to hear your stories. Phone calls from the dead. Have you ever received a text from somebody after they passed on? An email from somebody after they passed on? We want to hear those stories and more. And it's very simple to do, Tim. I don't know if you're familiar with this.
No, I'm not.
All you have to do is you pick up your phone and you dial 6 5 1. That was a lot of
I was going to say, did you dig out the old rotary phone?
Yeah, 651-989-5855. 651-989-5855. Be a part of the show tonight. We want to hear your encounters with the strange and supernatural. I have a bunch of emails we'll get to as well. We got a lot of great people in our live audience streaming it here on my Facebook page. So if you're listening and you want to join us for some fun, you could join us on the live video stream. Just go to one of our Facebook pages at Darkness Radio Dave, any of those deals. You'll find it up there, and we're streaming the show, so you can listen, you can watch along, have a little fun. 651-989-5855 is the number to call this evening, Tim. We've got a lot of stories that have been pouring in, and I got to tell you, for those of you that don't always listen on True Crime Tuesday, one thing that we've kind of thrown out in the last couple of weeks is how many people knew a killer. Tell us your story. And I'm still getting stories, Tim.
Really?
People are sending me their stories, so we're going to share some of those tomorrow night. I know a killer, and we'll hear some of those personal encounters with murder. You like that?
I like that.
Murder. And tonight it is Country Western Earworm Night, so fair warning. I figured tonight was a night to torture Tim. So knowing his affinity for country and Western music, we've done country tunes. And I think I've got some fun ones, although thank God I'm a country boy. That might have won the night, Tim. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
I might have one.
I think you got one here that's going to kill people.
I have one, I think, that people will sing along with. As a matter of fact, I'm going to encourage all of the people in our chat room to sing along with it when it pops up. All right. Hi, Darkness Dave and Twilight Tim.
Oh, God, I hate that name. I really do.
You are a sparkly little vampire, Tim.
Only when I wear glitter.
Greetings from the Great White North. How's it going, eh? That's what it says here. Actually, it's not so white and not so north compared to you. It is great. I am writing you from Thorold, Ontario, just north of El Paso.
Oh, yeah. I'm familiar. Yeah.
I'm from the West Texas town of El Paso. I'm writing to you with a non-paranormal experience.
Oh, good.
I don't know if you really picked up on the idea of PARASHARE.
Tell me about that peanut butter sandwich you made the other day.
I'm going to give it a shot here. It's a long one, too.
Okay.
So let's see where this goes.
All right.
I was lucky enough to be offered to investigate a 1830 farmhouse in Niagara-on-the-Lake. It's probably the most haunted town in Canada. Niagara-on-the-Lake was a center point for the War of 1812, being directly across from the Niagara River. From Youngstown, New York, and Fort Niagara, they were always under threat of invasion. This did happen in 1813, and the Americans were there until December when they abandoned Fort George, but not before burning the entire town to the ground. Well, we know how to party, us Americans, don't we? I investigated this house for 2 nights. Aside from paranormal investigation equipment, we also had a couple of psychics, myself included. The only activity we had was an orb that was witnessed by myself and another person. I was extremely surprised. This was the quietest house I've ever been in. I can't leave without telling you about a couple of experiences I've had in Niagara-on-the-Lake. All right, go ahead and tell us. First one, I was at Fort Mississauga leading a group of Beyond Ghosts Canada. I was going to into a Sally port. I saw two people at the end of the tunnel, one setting up a camera. When I was about 10 feet away, I announced my presence so I wouldn't scare them. As I got closer, I noticed there was only one person standing there. Just a minute after, I saw a shadow cross the end of the tunnel. During another event I was doing with the BGC, yeah, you know me, and this one at Fort George, I was at the far end of the tunnel. While myself and two others were in the tunnel, one of the other guests, let's call him Jake. Yeah, let's do that. We like that name, Jake. Let's call him Jake, walked up to the entrance of the table. He was one of those types that was a believer and a little scared, and I think maybe was using a little something to take the edge off. He asked if I could come in the tunnel. The tunnel is about 50 yards long. He came in halfway and stood to the one side. We were watching shadows in the entrance of the tunnel, and I asked Jake, "Do you see the shadow?" And he answered back, his voice shaking, Yeah, I do." 5 seconds later, he came running down to us. When he got to us, I asked what's wrong. He said something chased him in. Right then, I saw a vapor leave from behind Jake and go back out of the tunnel. Now, it is a cool town. I have a couple more investigations, and those are coming up at another time. So I will hope to have some more stories from you, and that comes from Marty, Tim. Marty, I say. We've got some stories calling in, too, as well. So if you'd like to be a part of the show, 651-989-5855, 651-989-5855. Let's see if we can go to the lines. Velma in Minneapolis, you're on the air.
Hi.
Hi, Velma.
It's a pleasure to be on the line.
Well, thank you for calling in and listening. What's your story for us tonight?
Okay, so my family comes from a country called Lebanon. And up at the village, it's a small village. It's called Dran. It's right above Batroun.
Okay.
We have some family members that have a house that's been passed down from generations. And in the house, there's this small staircase in the center that leads to kind of like a basement area.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a bedroom downstairs.
Okay.
Now, it's believed that it is haunted. We're not really sure, like, what exactly is present there.
Mm-hmm.
But my uncle has gone down there multiple times to pray, and he says that he hears people whispering at the door and listening in on his prayers. They're like shadowy figures that stand at the staircase. And my cousin claims that when she slept downstairs, she would have these nightmares that people are coming to take her away. She wasn't really sure what these shadowy figures were.
Right.
Now, I didn't believe it, of course,
Okay.
because I thought, oh, they're just feeding me this.
Sure.
But one night I was staying over at their house, and I was washing dishes. And in the kitchen, there's this window that shows out to the front where they have a garden, and there's kind of a balcony there. I was looking outside of there, and my aunt had just passed away from breast cancer. And there was some shadowy figure walking right in front of the window, and it just stopped. And my heart completely sunk to my stomach. I couldn't move for a second, and it was an unexplainable, really eerie feeling that, just never goes away. And whenever you walk around the house, you feel like somebody's just looking at you.
Wow, and you've ever had anything feel like it touched you, or anybody complain of actual physical contact?
Yeah. My uncle, when he says he prays downstairs and the
Mm-hmm.
people are listening in, he feels like somebody's putting their hand on his shoulder.
Interesting.
I personally haven't felt anything like physical, but
Mm-hmm.
I've seen things, and I'm not the type of person to, necessarily believe something until I really see it or experience it myself.
Right.
And that was one of the creepiest experiences of my life. And you really do feel like someone's staring at you when you're walking around the house. And I even felt it before I really saw anything. But then again, I thought maybe it's just my mind playing a trick on me because I heard that, you know?
Very cool. Well, thank you for listening and calling to share your story with us, Velma.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the air.
Have a great night. Take care of yourself. Let's go to Lily, calling in from northern Minnesota. Welcome to the show, Lily. What's your story for us?
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Just really quickly, this is, I think, strange and possibly paranormal. But,
okay.
And this is advice that I saw in one of those advice columns. Can't remember which one, but this was years and years ago. Somebody wrote in and said, do you have any advice on how to get a song that's stuck in your mind out? And they responded saying, pretend that it's Bob Dylan singing the song. And strangely enough, it actually does work, but I haven't heard anything about how to get a Bob Dylan song out of your mind. Maybe
then you just have to look at you just have to watch a video of him singing it.
Yeah. I thought that it was funny, but it actually does work. So if you guys get some awful song stuck in your head, try it and let us know how it works. And I also wanted to pass along that Tim plays the best bumper music anywhere ever.
I agree.
I really appreciate it. And I would like to ask if you guys would consider maybe announcing what the song is and who does it.
Absolutely not. Thank you, though. Not at all. Never going to happen. Never going to happen. No, no, we don't. Unfortunately, it's that's why God created Shazam. You could just Shazam the hell out of those songs. It's just playing it. It's you end up starting to feel like it's a 1970s DJ show, and that was ABBA with Dancing Queen. So we don't usually do the intros or outros. It's just the music that comes in and out. And usually, if you just hit Tim up at the end of the show and ask him for every song that he played, he'll respond and tell you to go to hell. But
well, maybe you could post it on your page. Like, I don't know, Coast to Coast, I think, used to do that. I don't know if they still do, but they just do a rundown of the songs that were the bumper music songs in case anybody wanted to.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in and sharing some time with us this evening. Not going to do it. Not going to post. Not going to talk about it. Just so sometimes we will if it's a song that hits us.
Here's the deal, though, folks. When it comes to bumpers, okay, sometimes they're clever and sometimes they're catchy and sometimes you want to know the name of them. However, bumpers aren't really supposed to be that much of the show. It's just a cute little.
But they are. People loves you.
It's a little bit of seasoning on the steak. That's
they
all
loves
it is.
You, Tim. They loves you and they loves your music choices.
Well, thanks. But still, all the same, it's just supposed to be a little, I can. But see, the whole thing about. I get people who ask me, what's that song you played by Led Zeppelin? I mean, come on.
Look it up.
Really?
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We've got more of your stories. Phone lines are ringing, 651-989-5855. Be a part of the show right here on Darkness Radio. You can get deep, Tim.
Well, that's what she said again.
Well, Ethan's dancing to Elvira. That's what Jessica just told us on our live chat, Tim. So we've got the kids dancing, so that's the important thing. All right, it is a PARASHARE Monday. What does that mean? Well, it means that you share your paranormal encounters with us. You can do that by picking up the phone at 651-989-5855, 651-989-5855, or email them into me at dave@darknessradio.com. We're going to go to our next story, which is this Tiffany?
Yeah.
Tiffany in Pennsylvania, welcome to the show.
How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good. How about you?
Good. Actually, I had a quick question before you say anything. What was the name of that song and who sang it? Just kidding. Don't hang up on me.
Click. Well, that was the Oak Ridge Boys with Elvira climbing its way up to the top of the charts. Yeah. All right. What's your story for us?
So I've been binging on your archives that you guys had posted on your website a few weeks ago.
Be careful. We go straight to your thighs.
I'm telling you 2 inches. But anyway, there was this one episode where you guys were talking about the axe murder house and this one EVP that you guys played. That was just insane.
The Villisca axe murder house, the very chilling EVP that a paranormal team caught.
Yes, and actually, when I heard that,
And then I remember somebody had mentioned that the neighbor said they didn't hear anything, but they woke up to somebody saying, "Oh, God, no."
Well, no, they caught on the video, or they caught on the audio recorder the voices. It sounds like a woman screaming and begging for her life, and children screaming and this loud banging. It's terrifying.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was that. But I thought I misunderstood. I thought the neighbor woke up.
No.
She thought she heard something.
No.
Well, my mishearing, that reminded me of a situation that happened with me when I was sleeping, I was dreaming, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I hear my dad's voice saying, "I just wanted to talk to you." And it woke me up out of a start to a point where I thought my dad was there and next to the bed, standing next to my bed. Looked at the clock, it was like 10-something, didn't think anything of it. The next day, talking to my mom, and she's telling me how my dad had to have emergency surgery, and they lost him on the table for a few seconds.
Okay.
And I was like, "Oh, well, so what time was this?" And she said, it was around 10 o'clock or 10, something like that. And I didn't think anything of it. I'm sorry, when I had my dream, it was 1-something. His surgery was at 10-something at night. I didn't think anything of it until later on that day. I live in Pennsylvania. They live in California.
Wow. Oh, so the timing of it. Right.
Yeah. And
sure.
I was like, holy
Hannah. Yeah, holy Hannah.
So, but when I heard that EVP, I kind of say I have the juju. So sometimes when I tap into something, like I see something, and I wanted to pick your brain about that EVP. The way that it was sounding with, it just to me just seemed like it was one voice, one female voice just screaming and hollering. And I'm thinking, how did nobody in the house hear that? How did the neighbors not hear that? And I clearly, distinctly heard, you're
because again, it's not necessarily in this realm. It's more of a magnetic recording of the voices impressed in time, right?
Yeah. So my question was, is it possible, and I know this sounds wackadoodle, that they didn't get an EVP of the murder taking place, but of, say, the mother was killed first, right? The mother was killed first, her spirit's out of her body, and now she's trying to warn her family to wake up. And what they caught was the mother screaming.
Well, I mean, I guess that's a possibility. We're just pontificating on that. It's all theorization and hypothetical at that point. But it doesn't sound like somebody warning or trying to call for help. It sounds more like somebody being brutally murdered. That's how it comes across to us. But we'll see if I can get Tim to dig that audio up, and we'll play it when we come back from the break. Thanks a lot for giving us a call and listening in tonight.
Cool. Thanks for everything, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Tim, do you have that EVP handy, the Villisca axe murder?
Not handy. No, I can look for it. I was going to say, what? I've been on the phone. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Old Villisca axe murder house.
We had to clear out our drives a long time ago, so it's probably not there, but I will look for it.
All right. And if you don't have it, I'll check in my emails to... I don't remember if this is it. I'll forward you a couple of them here that might have something to deal with it. And there's a couple of different places that couple different people have caught some really chilling EVP from the Villisca axe murder house. And I'll send over a couple links to you, and we could talk about it again and play some of that. And I think we played it on that night we did the Villisca axe murder show with Johnny Hauser, right?
Yes, we did.
Yeah. So, all right, let's take a break. Phones are ringing. We're almost at full complement. We want to hear from you. Give us a call, 651-989-5855, and we'll continue with more PARASHARE Monday right after this. Got friends in low places, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I reckon it's time we get back to the phone calls and telling more stories. But before we do, Tim,
yes,
we were talking about the Villisca axe murder house, where a family was brutally butchered with an axe in their house, hence the name. And a paranormal team had investigated it and shared an EVP. And I think you and I are in agreement that this is one of the worst in the sense of, I mean, it's so clear and terrifying, but this is one of the most bone-chilling EVPs we've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to give you a fair warning. If you have little kids listening, probably not a good idea. Hey, Sean, our buddy Sean Paul from Intrigue Theater is popping online too. Timmy saying hi. Okay, so
say hi
here
to Frankie for me.
Yeah, say hi to Frankie the Monkey for us, Sean Paul, Intrigue Theater. So this is it. Iowa, Villisca Axe Murder House. This is terrifying. It's really, really bad. And I don't know how else to explain it. You hear what sounds like a brutal attack going on. And I'm going to shut up and just let this play out. This was from a paranormal team that had sent this in to us. We've aired it a few times by request on the show, maybe once every year or two. So this is the EVP that we always refer to. I thought there was another one, too, where you could hear the banging. Remember that?
I remember this one, but I don't know about the other one.
I thought there was one where we could hear the banging. You could hear other voices in the background as well. But that's pretty terrifying, pretty creepy. I sent you a couple other ones. Were you able to hear them? Able to hear them at all, or no?
Just the one, but it's an 11-minute produced video with music and explosions and all that other crap.
Yeah, and then the other one I sent you was a different one, the one that said Villisca Scream. Was that?
It's barely audible, but I can play it.
Why don't you just give it a crack real quick?
All right.
Yeah. Almost sounds like a kid screaming in the background.
Either that or a parrot that's got diarrhea.
Well, could it be that too? Yeah.
Could be that.
Yeah, so those are some of the weirdest EVPs we've ever played. Hands down, some of the most terrifying stuff. All right, let's get back to it. We've got callers waiting to get online with us. Grant in Minneapolis, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys, thanks. Yeah.
Could you hear the audio during the while you were on hold there of the EVP?
Yeah, that was really...
That's
actually really sad to listen to.
It's heartbreaking.
Kind of bummed me out.
Yeah, it's a horrific piece. All right, what story do you have to share with us?
Well, first I just want to say, like, I've had a lot of strange things happen to me, like, seeing UFOs, other like afterlife paranormal experiences, out of body experiences. But like the one I want to tell you guys about, I've never really felt comfortable about telling anyone until like I listened to a show last week. I listened to one of the podcast recordings.
Okay.
With, I think the guest's name was Pettigrew. And at one point, he was talking about people who have the ability to, like, move objects. And the big thing he was talking about was cloud bursting and, kind of being able to do it on command.
Right.
And that reminded me of this experience I had. I think I was about 10 or 11 years old. Growing up on a farm back in Iowa, and I look up into the sky, and it was summer day, kind of cloudy, and there's a great big cloud bank, and all of a sudden, like, a window appears in the cloud, and then across, moving right to left, were what looked like either Chinese or Japanese characters. I don't know if that's what they were.
Okay.
But that's what they looked like. And they're moving. It was just scrolling for a while across the sky. It is clouds, like cloud-shaped characters. And it was the strangest thing I've ever seen in my life. And when I heard this guy talking about people who will being able to manipulate clouds in that fashion, I went cold. Like, because it suddenly dawned on me, maybe this is real. Maybe that actually did happen, because I've always questioned it, even though all the other crazy stuff I've seen or experienced. That just always stood out because I had no frame of reference for it until I heard that show. So I'm kind of curious, like, maybe if other listeners have, or you guys ever heard anything like that specific. And it makes me wonder, was somebody trying to send me a message? Was someone just messing with me by being able to do this, or what? So that's my story.
It would be a lot of guesswork on our side of what was actually going on and what you were seeing, but we've heard many different people experiment with that. and breaking apart the clouds and reforming them and doing some weird stuff. I've never – I wish I had the time to lay down and look up at the sky and play with the clouds, but I've never actually tried it personally. How about you, Tim?
Actually, I downloaded the book and everything that Mike Pettigrew offered on Friday night, and I'm still going through it. But I want to try it because he claims he's the ultra skeptic in that he didn't believe it when he was told about it and tried it and actually was able to do it. So I'm going to try it. Why not? Very
cool. Well, we'll let you know what we find out. And, yeah, is that link still available for our listeners, Tim, if people want to get the free copy of his book and such?
It is, yeah. Let's see, I posted it the other day, but I believe it's unlockgratitudenow.com/gift.
Unlockgratitudenow.com/gift.
Right.
And then you get the free book and everything that you heard Tim dealing with on Friday. All right, very cool. Grant, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
It's a pleasure. All right, let's dip out real quick. We'll come back. Our buddy George Lopez is online. Anna Isabel. We've got Nathan and Kevin. We'll try to get to all of your calls in the next segment. And my final country music earworm, which I think this one is a pretty solid pick, Tim.
I think so,
Pretty solid pick when we come back right after this. I'm not going to lie to you. Mm-hmm. It's pandering. Did you see which one I chose?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, that's a little pandering, but it's another one that'll stick to you.
Yeah?
Still like napalm.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to it. We've got more calls ringing in. As promised, ladies and gentlemen, comic legend George Lopez was not available, but our friend George Lopez was. George, welcome to Darkness Radio.
You know, the EVP clip from Feliska Axe Murder House is the same noise I was making with every one of those back-to-show songs you played.
Those is called bumper music, George. You ought to know that by now. What's your story for us tonight, George?
Something I want to throw at you, Dave, and I can get your perspective on it, too. Just had a wonderful time at the Florida Panhandle, Rust House. Andrea Perrin and I were up there with some good friends, and we tried an experiment I've been doing with the people that came there to visit this place, which is try to connect with energy. So 10 to 12 people, 6 different sessions, and asking them the questions like, where did they sense the energy in the room? And people would point in the same direction. And then what were the visuals that you were getting in your head? And they would describe the same people. The problem I had, though, Dave, and I wanted your take on this, was that there was probably an 80 to 85% success rate as far as those people connecting to spirit or getting visions, the same type of experiences or the spirits or the events that had transpired at this place. After they would leave, they'd go downstairs and they'd speak to the people who organized this event and would say, you know, to those who said they didn't sense anything, that they did, but they were afraid to either mention it, afraid to fear is still a big factor in this field. And, you know, I've been on this crusade to try and get people to be a little bit more challenging, to try and do things in this field that's going to make some sort of a headway with communication, steady communication. You know, is there ever going to be a breakthrough, or is that always going to be that underlying feeling where people just don't want to take that leap of faith?
You know, George, I mean, that's kind of the whole thing we just keep finding with this, right? I mean, it's always kind of peeling back layers and seeing what makes sense to us and what doesn't. And, you know, I know you and I have been on this journey together for 8-9 years since we met you at the Stanley Hotel. And what happens is you start, you know, looking at some of these things, and your perspective is going to change, and the way people react to some of this stuff is going to change. You know, I don't know. Like I said, every time I feel like we're starting to get a handle on what's going on, it slips away and a whole new set of questions pops up. And I don't know if that's what you're finding as well.
It is. The only thing that I was discovering that was really incredible were the people that were willing to try it, so that if they go on an investigation, whether they wind up being part of a team or just continue to go to these super haunts, that they have an experience of connection, not the fear-based, not that every time. I even explain to them, you know, if you're feeling nauseous, maybe it's not that they're attacking you, but they're trying to communicate, telling you how they died, you know, or the tightness around your throat, and not to right away demonize everything or villainize everything. And a lot of people came from that,
right,
really feeling a little bit more confident in the possibility of connection, even to loved ones.
Right, and I've said that, you know, we don't always jump to the demon aspect. A lot of people like to do that, and I think that's silly. But, you know, it unnerves them, so that's what they know, to go with that. If they're frightened, it must be that.
Yeah, but I appreciate everything that you guys do, and a fantastic topic and show tonight. And I thank you for giving me some time with you guys.
No problem, George. Tell people how they can find you and the podcast you work on as well.
The podcast is Dead Air Paranormal. You can find it on Blog Talk Radio, primarily with myself on Mondays from 9 p.m. Eastern, and with Andrea Perrin of The Conjuring fame on Tuesday nights with The World Awakening at 9 p.m. Thank you, sir.
You bet. Thanks a lot for calling in, George. Take care of yourself. Let's try to grab Anna Isabel here real quick from East Providence, Rhode Island. We have about 4 minutes left together. Anna, what did you want to share with us tonight?
Hi, Dave.
Hi.
First, I want to apologize for being your Facebook oversharer.
What do you mean?
I tagged you a lot, and I apologize.
Oh, no problem. No problem. What's going on? What story did you have for us?
I'm actually going to tell you a story that recently you had Dark Waters on, and it brought back some memories from my childhood. You know how when you're a kid, they teach you how to draw a ghost where it's like just a white, fluffy thing?
Right.
And I never used to draw ghosts like that. I always used to draw a woman with long black hair that would fall to her knees. She'd have fangs, these white eyes, and clawed fingers, and always in a white dress. And she would always be floating, and I could always picture her just angry. And I used to draw that from, like, elementary school through middle school. And one day when I was in middle school, I met a girl named Sophie who was a Cambodian refugee. And she saw my drawing of my ghost, and she said, "Why do you have that ghost in your book?" And I looked at her and I said, "You're the first person who's ever seen this drawing and been like, that's a ghost. Everyone else asks me, why do you draw that weird lady?" And for her, back in Cambodia towards the end of the war, she and her family were hidden in their hut, and there was a woman screaming, a female ghost screaming down the road, and she attacked Sophie. And to this day, Sophie has a scar under her chin from that woman reaching at her, and her family just broke through the back of their hut to escape her.
Wow, very creepy. I mean, touched her so much it left a scar.
It left a scar, and it's the strangest scar I've ever seen. And the way she described the way the woman's fingernail hooked underneath, the raised flesh, that could only be that way.
Very weird. Well, thank you for giving us a call and sharing your story with us.
You're very welcome. And I just want to let you and Tim know how much I love you guys, and I appreciate your stories. You know, for a long time I thought I was the only one, and your PARASHARE Mondays just make me feel less lonely.
Oh, well, you're not alone. Trust me, there are people all around the world that are sharing strange experiences and having these kind of deals happen. So don't feel bad. Don't ever feel alone. Don't feel crazy. And if you do, just realize that you're surrounded in a world full of people just as crazy, all right?
And I promise I'll be sending more emails because I've been experiencing things since,
Great. Just make sure they're spelled well, and there's lots of punctuation and paragraphs for me.
I will.
All right. Send them to Dave at Darkness Radio. Thank you. Take care. Dave at darknessradio.com. Dave at darknessradio.com. That's the way to find us. That's the way to listen to the show. And give us a call, 651-989-5855, 651-989-5855. If you have stories to share with us into the next hour of the show, we will continue with a whole nother hour of PARASHARE, your encounters with the strange and supernatural. I will try to continue to stream in the next hour on our Facebook pages, so you can go watch the live video stream as we do the show. And as we go out this hour, we'll do one more country music earworm. And
I could even fire it up right now.
No, could you?
Yeah.
Well, next hour we'll be doing freeform, so it's not country western, but we'll each have our own pick for earworm in that next one. Let's go ahead, Tim, and start it a little early. Well, maybe a little late for some of you. Ladies and gentlemen, are finding. Welcome back. This is the best in paranormal talk radio. Darkness Radio is on the air, and this is a PARASHARE Monday. You can call in and share your personal encounters with the strange and the supernatural. You can do that by calling us at 651-989-5855. 651-989-5855, as so many of our callers have. Let's see, Tim, I'm trying to figure out where our longest caller is. I think we've got a tie going. Nathan in Texas, you're up, and welcome to Darkness Radio.
Hey, Dave, how are you tonight?
Good. Thank you for your patience and hanging in with us. Kevin in Washington State and Kim in Denver, you guys are next, so stay tuned. All right, Nathan, what's your story for us this evening?
All right, so I had a dream, and this has been over a year ago, up to 6 months ago, because it's actually 3 different dreams. And in this dream, I'm with this girl that I've never seen before, and I have car accidents. In fact, multiple car accidents, and in all the accidents, bad things happen. So I start driving for Lyft about 2 months ago.
All right.
And about 3 weeks ago, I actually picked up the girl from my dream.
Oh, no.
Never seen her before ever, and I'm like, oh, my God. And I recognized her immediately, and I'm like, wow, this is weird. So then I'm thinking to myself, well, I've never seen any of these intersections where I've had this dream at, so let's just start driving. So I'm driving, and automatically I recognize the first intersection. And so I stop. It's a green light. There's nobody around. I stop. And out of nowhere, like the very large semi-bucket trucks that cable companies use and telephone companies use?
Right, yeah, with the cherry pickers on them?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
My light's as green as can be, and he runs the red light. I see the guy holding paper in one hand and his cell phone in the other hand. He's completely oblivious to the light and just runs right through it. And if I would have just kept on going, he would have just hammered us. And I'm thinking, oh, my gosh, I can't believe that happened. Well, at the next intersection is the intersection to merge onto the interstate.
Right.
And in my dream, I get ran over by a semi merging onto the interstate. So
good grief.
Instead of merging onto the interstate, I just stay on my lane and I keep on going. Now, there was a semi there. It wasn't scary, no big deal, but avoided it. Now, in the third part of my dream, I get hit by like a telephone post or a lamp post that falls over on me. So I'm at a stop sign, and I recognize the area, and I just stay there like an extra 10 seconds. And sure enough, a car comes up behind me and jumps the curb because I'm a Lyft driver, and this is like 3 o'clock in the morning, right?
Holy cow, man.
Drunk from bars. hits the light pole
right
next to me and
okay.
knocks it over into the intersection. If I would have went, I would have got hit by this light pole, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, my gosh, I can't believe that happened. So then I finally dropped this girl off. And, she's, 23, 24-year-old girl. She pays me. She never says anything to me. She never really looked up from her phone or anything. So I drop her off at the front part of her housing complex, and I drive all the way around to get to the exit. And whenever I'm exiting, I see that same girl looking at me. Well, she's there. She never looks at me, but she's got a little kid with her,
mm-hmm.
and the little kid looks at me, and he has black eyes. And to make it worse, I saw that little kid one other time before in a bounce house. So
really?
That's my story. Yep. And you asked me about smells before one time.
Right.
I had my window rolled down whenever I approached those people. Oh, my God, pungent odor.
Pungent, crazy. Wow, man, somebody was watching out for your back, huh?
I don't know, man. I'll tell you what, after that first one, because I looked at the girl and I had the dreams, and I'm like, this can't actually be happening the way it's happening, but it did. And, I don't know, just sometimes it's good to listen to your dreams and just take that extra second because you never know what's happening,
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I'm glad you're still amongst the living, Nathan. And I'm glad you're still here with us, and that somebody stepped in to make sure that your life was saved. So that's great. I'm glad you heeded the warnings.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. I thought you guys would enjoy that.
Did you wonder though, Nathan, that when you stopped at that intersection, did it ever cross your mind? Maybe it's me stopping in this intersection that causes this accident.
Me stopping in this intersection. Are you talking about when the guy hit the traffic?
Yeah, right. You said the cherry picker came flying through.
That dude just was passed out, and he was in the other lane. So, I actually stopped and made sure he was all right. He had no idea what was happening. He had been passed out for a while, and you can actually see him swerving. I was actually worried that he was going to hit me, but if I would have went forward to avoid him, he still would have hit the lamppost because that dude was 3 sheets to the wind. So.
or
wow.
more.
Well, like I said, I'm glad you survived it. I'm glad you're still amongst the living to share your stories with us. So be safe, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Talk to you later.
Thank you. Take care. Oh, boy. I don't know that I'd ever get in a car again, Tim.
Nope.
No, or next time you have a dream, then would you be like worrying about everything in the dream?
Well, think about it. This guy's a Lyft driver, so he's got to go back to work the next day whether he wants to or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now, you have that, and then like a week later you have a dream where like a unicorn knocks you down and tries to make you eat Spam.
Oh, I have that every day.
Yeah, I'm going to be avoiding unicorns like mad after that.
Oh, I never eat Spam either.
No, Spam. That's a nightmare in itself. 651-989-5855. 651-989-5855. Kevin in Washington State, you're on the air. Thank you for your patience.
Oh, no problem, Dave. I think I would have been an ex-Lyft driver after that story.
Yeah, that would have been the end of my deal. Well, thank you. We're gone.
Yeah, I think one stop and they're out.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy. Well, so this weekend I had an experience with a Bigfoot, and sorry, tell me to slow down if I get talking too fast because I'm still a little bit excited from it.
Understandable,
but
sure.
This thing, this involves several people camping together. So do you want me to say everything that happened to everybody? Because it makes more sense that way, even though I
Sure,
wasn't.
yeah, go ahead. Fill us in. Let me know.
Yeah, okay. So we were camping in this national forest in Washington by Snoqualmie, and so there was about 10 people together. 5 were at one campsite. I was camped down by myself about 100 meters away, but it was right next to the river, and I couldn't hear the other campsite. And then there was somebody across the river. Well, I have an insulin pump, and I had to go back down to my tent from the main campground at just right before dark, and I had to charge it. Well, I went into my tent to charge it, and I started to get. Well, the only way I could describe it was like zapping in my head.
Okay. Like
somebody was taking a 9-volt battery to either side of my head, and it was like jumping over from one side to the other. That's the only way I can really describe it. And so I thought, well, maybe there's something wrong with me, and so I laid down while I was charging my pump. Well, the next thing I hear this huge thud outside my tent right next to my head, and so I got up because I started to get scared at that point in time because I'm by myself. It's pitch black now. By the time that I got everything hooked up and charged, and there was clouds and there's basically no moon, nothing, and so I went outside and I found this stone that was probably a 2 to 3 pound stone that had been thrown somewhere right next to where my head was. So I started to freak out, and I started to stoke the fire a little bit. Well, whenever I started to stoke the fire, I looked up across the river, and there was something that was 7 or 8 feet tall with 2 bright white eyes just staring at me. And so I didn't, I went to get the walkie-talkie to call the other group of people because I didn't want to be by myself at that point in time. And so I called them on the thing, the walkie-talkie. I didn't get any response or anything like that. This thing continued to stare at me for about 30 to 45 seconds. And then walked up the bank of the river, and then another set of lights turned on, like another light, and so I basically then at that point in time went inside my tent and got my gun. At that point in time, I wasn't going to come out. Well, apparently at the same time that this was happening, my girlfriend was with the other campers up the road, and they saw eye shine coming across the road at them, and then in front of the lights that they were at, something walked in front of the light, and then continued to walk down the road, and they described this as something with like 4-foot legs, 8 feet tall, walking down the road. And the dogs that were with them, they pointed at that. They were barking and pointing and everything at this thing. And so somebody tried to go and follow it, but then it had disappeared. And my theory was that it was going down the road to where I was. And so the next morning, sorry, I'm just a little bit excited. The next morning, I got up and I just verified, and there was a whole bunch of tracks behind my tent, 17-inch tracks that were right behind where I was. I forgot to the point where the thing that really, I'm sorry, I was a little bit excited, but the thing that really got to me was, too, whenever I saw this eye shine and the thing went up the road, then the thing that really freaked me out was that I have a Ford Explorer, and it has a handle on the driver's side of the car that if you pull the handle up, the interior lights turn on.
Right.
And whenever I saw the eye shine and the thing moving up there, approximately about a minute after that, and the thing that really kind of freaked me out at that point in time, because it was so close to me, and the truck was only like 25 feet from me, the interior lights on the truck turned on, and that's whenever I just headed right into the tent, and then I didn't come out. But the next morning when we got up, we found fingerprints on the side of the truck, big, huge fingerprints, these tracks all the way around the back of the tent. The people who were camping across the river where I saw the eye shine originate from, they said they didn't get out of the tent because they heard heavy foot stomps and everything around there all night, and she didn't get any sleep. And the other people had told me the story about them seeing the figure walking down the street. So it was a completely weird scenario. Happened to 3 different groups of people. And that's all I can say about that. It completely threw me way off balance, and I don't know what to say about it. It was just. Did
you take photographs of the footprints or anything?
We have photographs of the tracks and all that stuff. But I mean, it was literally just the weirdest thing that had ever happened. And I used to be in the Army, and I've been through a lot of stuff, and I don't think anything really kind of excited me that much. It was just like I knew I was surrounded, which doesn't make sense to go into a tent, because it's not like the tent's made of Kevlar or anything like that.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, maybe just the fact that I was in a spot by myself, that kind of getting under the covers, but just the whole experience of like the weird zapping in my head and the whole thing. I mean, it was just. And apparently our satellite communicator, it stopped working at the same time that the walkie-talkies quit working and everything. So all the electrics that we had just quit, and
Now, would you go back there again?
Well, I wouldn't go by myself. I can tell you that much. I mean, if I think that the funny part about it is the next morning we all kind of talked about what we were going to do, and we all stayed there another night.
Are you nuts?
And and nothing happened that third night.
Uh-huh.
Nothing happened that third night we were there. But it was just, I mean, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, it wasn't like I didn't feel like we were, other than the rock being thrown at me, which is the only thing that happened, nobody else felt threatened, And I guess if it wanted to throw the rock at the tent, it would have hit the tent, I guess. Right. But I did consider sleeping inside my truck that night. But then somebody slept in the tent with me that night. So.
Wow, you got him. Would you go back there though? Would you ever go back to that spot?
Well, I think it's gonna be a while. I might go in the daytime. I don't know if I would
Well, would you let, like, if we've got a couple of really solid investigators who are scientific, they're not hokum, they're not out there looking to kill a Bigfoot, but they're really looking for an active location. Would you be willing to share that location so that they know how to go locate and see if they can get some kind of really conclusive evidence?
Well, if they wanted to do that, that would be fine. It's a location that one of my friends has. I'd have to ask their permission, for that. But I mean, I don't think that would be a big problem because it's basically public land, and so I don't think it would be a big issue. But I would need to ask that person before, you know how it is. A lot of times people don't want to talk about this publicly.
Right. Well, why don't you talk to him about it and then get back to me at dave@darknessradio.com, and let's see if we can't put together a couple of our people to investigate this and check it out, especially if it's that active. I would, in that case, I would even be willing to go out and do the investigation, be a part of it myself for something that active.
Well, I tell you, Dave, I mean, to be honest with you, I've never seen, I've spent a lot of time in the woods and I called in one time and said I saw, I possibly seen a Bigfoot walking across the road, but this was nothing like that. I mean, literally, it was more, it had the paranormal element into it with an animal element. You know what I'm saying? It was way more anything that I almost could, I'm sorry I'm so excited about it. But anyway, I just wanted to call in and tell you because, I'd said before I really wanted to believe in a lot of different things. And after that, I do believe. And I guess that's the thing. I don't know if you feel that way whenever you have experiences.
Oh, sure.
Do you feel like you don't want to ever go back, or do you just say, I don't think I'd go back? Right. I mean,
right. There's a couple of places where I thought, oh, well, that was interesting. I have no need to ever go back there. But for the most part, it's I always want to go back just to kind of put myself in that position one more time to see if what I experienced was really what it appears to be.
Yeah, well, I mean, the next morning we got up and checked out everything, and I mean, literally, if you ever talk to the people that I was with, I was thinking of anything it possibly could. I mean, you know what I mean? I was trying to rationalize it in any which way possible. I was even thinking, did anybody stand out there with two flashlights? Was this happening? Was this happening? I was looking up trees to see if the thing had fallen out of a tree that's 100 feet tall, and the next. I mean, I literally tried anything, but whenever I saw the footprints and stuff like that, I just kind of broke down. But anyway, I know you've got other people, Dave. I'll talk to them. But
and then email me at Dave. Yeah, email me at Dave@darknessradio. We'd love to follow up on that. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Maybe I could just tell you about it privately. You know what I mean?
You don't have to do it on air. Yeah, just shoot me an email at Dave@darknessradio.com. All right, before the break, we've got Kim in Denver patiently waiting an hour. Kim, you're on the air.
Hey there, guys.
How are you?
I'm a huge fan.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Started listening about a couple summers ago, and I've been meaning to call in for ages because I never heard the term time slip until your show. And it completely describes an experience that I had I want to say it was around 2003 or so. And basically, I moved into this old apartment building in like Midtown Denver, and just one of these real old sort of dilapidated apartment buildings that it's kind of falling into disrepair, and the landlords don't really care very much. So I lived there. I was in a fourth floor walk up, and the laundry room was down in the basement. And because, no elevators, this old building, I'd been putting off doing laundry for about a week after I'd moved in there, hadn't even gone down there. So one night I decided to go check it out before I hauled all my laundry down the 4 flights of stairs to go down there. And it was, it's after dark, and I went down there, and I was the only person down there. And when you first come down the stairs, it's just your basic laundry room. But then when you look off to the side, there's this long hallway. So I wanted to see what was down the long hallway. So I walked in, and it looked as if it was a sort of an abandoned storage area. There were these I want to say they're like little individual units, but they were really just decrepit. I mean, the doors were falling off the hinges. They were like splintered boards that were just kind of nailed up over there. Like there was like exposed wiring hanging from the ceilings and kind of like a bare light bulb, and it was bad. So of course I kept walking down the hallway because that seemed like the rational thing for me to do. And at the end of this hallway,
right?
Yeah, exactly. There was this door, and it was just gapped open enough to see that there was light coming out from underneath it. So I walked down the hallway and I pushed on this door, and as soon as I touched the door, I got this like just overwhelming feeling of discomfort and foreboding and just I shouldn't be down here type of feeling. And as I pushed the door, it swung open just a little bit, and I was able to see inside the room, which was this giant, the whole building was brick, a very old building. So this giant empty brick-walled building with a dirt floor with a partially dug hole in the center of the floor. And I saw it and immediately left. I mean, I ran out of there, basically. And I went, that night, and I told a bunch of my friends about this creepy hole in the basement of my new apartment building and how scary it was. And it definitely, was something that I talked nonstop about for probably the next 2 days. So 2 days later, some friends were over and they said, we want to see the creepy hole in your basement. So I said, sure, I'm feeling safety in numbers, so let's go down there. Yeah. So we go down there, and, this is sort of in the afternoon. And the first thing I notice is the hallway off of the laundry room has been painted, and the doors have been repaired. And I'm like, okay, well, it wasn't like this when I came down here. It was much, much worse. And, it still looked kind of old, but it appeared to have been refurbished slightly. But the more I looked at it, I was like, well, this can't be right because this is better, but this is still old paint. I mean, and it's somewhat repaired, but, the boards are still kind of weathered, and, some of them have padlocks on them, and, it looks like some residents have maybe stored, their bicycles down there, and it was in use, whereas before it had been completely neglected, termites had been in the wood, and it was just, so I kind of chalked that up into maybe someone came down here and slapped a quick coat of paint up, and so much for that. So I went down the hall, and I said, there's the door right down there. You can go look at it. I'm not going down there, so there it is. Go check it out. So my friends walked down the hall, and they push on the door, and they're like, oh, ha, really funny, Freddy Krueger's boiler room. And I said, what are you talking about? He pushes the door open all the way, and there's this massive boiler in the center of the room, taking up almost the entire room. Obviously it's to heat the entire apartment building, but it had not been down there the 2 days earlier when I was there. And I was blown away. I have no explanation for that. There was nothing down here. There was a hole in the middle of that floor.
Welcome to Elm Street, bitch. Is that what you heard coming from the basement?
Do that, man. I'm home alone.
I'm your boyfriend now, Kim.
All right.
Yeah, I had no explanation.
So it was there 1 minute, not the other.
You talked about the
right.
time slip. Yes, it's the weirdest thing, and people said, "Oh, well, you made it up, you did this," and I didn't. Like I as trite as this sounds, I mean, this was 2003-ish, so I was, keeping a blog online, and I had blogged about the first experience with the hole days before going down and seeing it as a boiler room. Like, why would I lie about that? I mean, I lied about it to the entire internet. Why? What's the point of that?
To what end? Right.
Yeah, so that's that. Time slip, the craziest thing that's definitely ever happened to me, paranormally speaking, anyway.
Well, very cool. Thank you for sharing that with us, Kim. And Kim, do me a favor.
Sure.
Have sweet dreams.
Stop that, man.
We'll be back. We've got more calls coming in, 651-989-5855. And when we return, Tim, this is the song whenever my kids get on my nerves and they want, hey, I want this, Dad, can I have that? Can I have this? Can I have that? This is the song I break out to.
All right.
In stores, at home, at the beach, wherever.
I want video of this, by the way.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't get into the logistics of the song, but I do the chorus over and over to them, and they hate it, but it makes me laugh, and it's in my head. So this is my earworm for the night that's stuck with me, so you might as well get stuck with it. And then we've got more stories. Give us a call, 651-989-5855. Be a part of the show tonight on Darkness Radio. Back to it. Phones are ringing in 651-989-5855, 651-989-5855. We have one more earworm heading your way, courtesy of our good friend Timmy D. And that'll be coming up a little bit later on in the show. Let's go back to the phone lines. Corey in North Dakota, you're on the air.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Corey.
So I had something really strange happen to me this past week, but for me it was inspirational because it wasn't exactly a ghost, but I think I may have had an angel following me around.
Okay.
I had started a new job a few weeks ago, and it was late training at night, so I had to take off late at night from that job to try and catch a bus to get home because it was the last bus of the night. Otherwise, I was stuck in the middle of a city that I'm not familiar with trying to do the training for this job.
Mm-hmm.
And it was scary because it wasn't even just ice cold. It was pitch black dark outside in a scary part of town. And then I was finally able to switch to a morning shift. But every time I'd go to this same bus stop, there was always this person here who, when I would turn back around to talk to them, they were gone.
Just
where'd they go?
Gone. All right.
Gone. The guy was standing inside an enclosed shelter while we were talking, and I looked around the corner. I'm like, oh, hey, the bus is here. Where'd he go? He's gone. And then when the person would stick around, they would get on the bus with me. They would sit near me.
Mm-hmm.
But they would only stay there for a couple of minutes. They turn and smile at me and get off the bus. What's up with that? I mean, you don't just get on the bus, pay your fare on the bus, sit there for 2 minutes, get off of the bus.
All I can tell you is my entire understanding of it is that the wheels on the bus go round and round. I don't ride the bus. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if they're there and then gone the next second, obviously something weird's happening. That's all I got, Corey. I don't know what else to offer you on that. You know, if you're having that, I mean, is that, how many times have you had that kind of thing occur? Oh God, Tim, the ghosts on the bus got Corey.
Got Corey.
That's right.
Got Corey.
Oh my gosh, Corey, sorry we lost you. Just scary. She was gone, Tim.
Yeah, I know.
Just like the guy on the bus behind her. She was gone. Let's try some big special effects. Ready? Tim, she was gone. Gone. Very good.
That cost us about $3.50.
Yeah, $3.50.
Yeah.
Mike in Chattanooga's on the air with us. Mike, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Doing good. How about you?
I can't complain. I got a Thunderbird story for you.
All right. Hit me up.
Okay, so where I grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, right behind my grandmother's house is a cemetery. Just behind that is some railroad tracks, and behind that was some government property that everybody always called TNT. And I was always told that they tested bombs and new ammunition and tanks and stuff back there during World War II. And we always used to, when we were kids, we would walk back in there just wasting time walking around in the woods. And it was 8,000 acres of just rolling hills, just up and down all over the place. And I'm back there with my friend one day. I'm maybe 13 or 14 years old. And we kept thinking we were seeing someone following us. We couldn't really make out any definition, but it just looked like there was a black figure on top of the hill every time we'd get down to the bottom of a hill. And we get down in this little plateau, and we had three ways to take. We could have either gone back towards the house or to the left or the right, deeper into the woods. And one of the ways went up a hill, and all of a sudden I hear my friend go, "Hey, what's that?" I look up in the tree, and there is this gigantic bird sitting on the top of the tree, up near the top branches. And before I can even turn up and look at it, I hear this giant whooshing sound behind us. And whatever it was that was following us took flight and landed right next to the other one in the tree. And when it did, it broke the tree. Limbs came crashing down, big loud sound. Both figures took off in the air, wingspan larger than I even want to imagine at this point still, because these birds were seriously big enough to carry off a human being. And then
when they took off, I mean, could you feel the rush of the air or anything?
We were a little too far away for that, but you could definitely hear it.
Wow.
I mean, it was like a woof.
And how many of there were you?
It was me and my friend Marco. And there was 2 of the birds, so after they flew off, we kind of skedaddled real quick. And then a couple weeks later, we go back out in the woods. I've got a rifle. He's got a little handgun. You know, we think we're bad.
Right.
We go up to the same tree, and there was a tree branch freshly broken, the same one they were sitting on, about as big around as I'd say maybe a coffee can, maybe a little bigger, snapped straight off the tree, like it was just broke. And that was probably the last time I went back in those woods, and they turned it into what is now the Volkswagen plant in Chattanooga. So
weird.
Yeah.
Very cool. So a giant, and boy, that many of you saw it. And what were you going to do? Take a shot? You were going to try to shoot it?
Well, we wanted to see it again, and that was, I guess, just for protection. I mean, we were young. We didn't want to get, what happened to Mike? Oh, I don't know. He just disappeared. So, yeah, I guess it was for protection or something. I don't know.
I guess. You got a lot more cojones than I do, Mike, because if I saw a giant bird that could fly away and take me somewhere, I don't know that I'm going to go back out there tempting fate.
I don't know if it was cojones so much as stupidity. But
no, stupidity, cojones, they kind of go hand in hand in our lives, right?
Sometimes.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mike, for calling in. We have to take a break. When we come back, Tim's final shot at the earworm competition. And then I picked one kind of last-ditch effort song for just the end of the – kind of one more country song at the end that kind of slipped past me. But this is one that always sticks in my craw, too. But you've got one more coming up that's just kind of a wild card.
I do, and I did want to add that Stupidity Cojones is my dancing name. So,
yes, it is. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage at the Sugar Shack. What is it? Stupidity Cojones. That's nice. Doesn't really roll off the tongue.
No, not at all.
All right, let's take our final break. We'll be back with Timmy D and Heather in Illinois. Why don't you call and share your stories at 651-989-5855, 651-989-5855. Yeah, I'm not a big Beyonce fan. She's a lot like having a mouthful of fillings and biting on tin foil to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of
I don't know what that's like because I only have one filling and I never chew on tin foil.
Well,
I think I'm missing out on something.
I think you are.
Yeah. It's been an earworm night. All right, we're off next Monday night because it's Memorial Day, and we're going to play. I think I found a cool episode, Tim, if we can dig it out, and it's mostly black-eyed kid stories with David Weatherly, so we'll try to pull that one out.
Okay.
But in a couple weeks, we'll come back, and it's 90s earworms, which is a tough one for me. So I'm not a big 90s guy, but I think I know my 3 already. I think. I just have to look at the years and make sure they're 90s.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're good ones, too, in my opinion.
Well, good.
Yeah. All right, let's get to it. We've got Heather in Illinois, Tim. There's an S. We might as well use it.
Yes.
Heather in Illinois, you're on the air.
Hello?
Hi, Heather.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing very well at the moment.
Good.
Yeah, I'm outside, so no one can hear me. Well,
okay.
The neighbors can.
We can hear you.
Yes.
All right.
The neighbors. Everybody might know about our problem.
Uh-oh, what's going on, Heather?
Well, we've been calling him Charlie because you remember the Charlie game?
Yeah.
It works here.
Really?
Yeah, the yes, no. But the thing is I've been playing with a Ouija board since I was a little kid.
Shame on you.
Yeah, and now I'm 32, and I'm married, and I have 2 kids, and there's an entity here.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, it throws candle holders at me when I'm cooking stuff it doesn't like. And it throws vases across the room. And my son, who's 4, still has to sleep in my room because I'm afraid of him to sleep in his own room.
Right.
Yeah, because before he slept in his own room, and the baby monitor would say things like, "Come get him."
What?
So I'd get him.
Well, was it one of those wireless baby monitors?
No, we're talking old school.
Oh, really? Old school.
Yeah,
okay.
Cheap old school.
Gotcha. Because I was going to say, people can hack a lot of those baby monitors now.
Not anything modern, nope.
No. All right. So it was an old one. And it would talk and taunt your child?
A little bit. It wouldn't really taunt, but it would talk. Like, I still let my daughter sleep alone because she doesn't really get bothered. But my son, for some reason, if he sleeps in his room, he gets bothered. And I don't really think it's like a demon or anything, but there's definitely a ghost here.
What can you tell me what part of Illinois you're in, Heather?
Yeah, I'm in Galesburg.
Galesburg. Where is that?
It's about 3 hours south of Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, you attribute it to what? Messing with the Ouija board?
I don't attribute to that. I don't really. I don't know. I think it's the house.
You think the house is haunted? Have you done any research on like diedinhouse.com?
I have. In fact, I spent like $30 and found out no one died in this house. No one was like executed in the house. Nothing.
Hey, for
like,
$5, I would have told you that.
Yet this house is full of bizarre stuff.
Right. Now, does it show that owners, sometimes it'll say that there's no record of the owner dying in the house, but the previous owners died.
Yeah, but they didn't die in the house. I looked up all the records.
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not haunting it, though.
True.
Right?
Yeah,
just because they die somewhere else.
Here. We call it Charlie. Because, like I said, the Charlie game worked. And the thing is, like, you know, I'll be listening to music and doing dishes and stuff, and, like, candle holders will just fly on my head and shatter on the shelves.
Did you hear that, Tim? Did you hear what they call her?
There's a fragrance that's here today, and they call
Charlie.
Seriously, glass just shatters on my head when I'm cooking.
No
and it's
bueno.
not funny at all to me.
No. Well, we're not trying to make light of it much.
And sometimes it's playful. Like, I'm coming back inside now.
Uh-huh.
We'll see if it does anything.
Okay. Well, hopefully it will,
talk
but
about it.
yeah, keep you safe. So do you go outside so Charlie can't hear you? Is that the idea?
No, he can totally hear me. I don't even know if it's like a boy or girl, like not anything. I don't know what it is. But nothing's happening right now. I don't know. I got a bunch of salt lamps and a bunch of sage because that's what they told me to do.
Sure.
And
sometimes, too, you know, if you simply just ask, just ask the angels to come forth into the home, find any spirits that are lost, and just say, you know, you're welcome to go. This is your time to leave. And, bring forth family members, relatives, things like that to make this transition easier. That's kind of the way to handle it in a lot of those cases. So you can always mention that and try to do that. That's whenever we've run up against anything in houses, that's always the kind of clearing method that I'll do.
I don't mean to hear crappy, but we've done that.
And it's only gotten what?
And we've done that, and it's only gotten more stronger.
Really?
Yeah, and the only thing it doesn't bother is my daughter. Like, it doesn't bother my 8-year-old, which makes me wonder, like, if it's connected to her somehow.
How long is it?
Or something?
Right, how long has this been happening?
Like, since we moved into the house, like, 7 years ago.
Yeah, if it was poltergeist activity, it would be over by now. True poltergeist activity really only lasts a couple of months.
Which I'm so grateful for.
Sure.
But my son has to sleep in our room because he sleeps in his room, and the baby monitor talks stuff, and we are knocking and pounding, and he cries, and it's so scary.
Well, we'll wish you the very best, and hopefully you guys will be safe on that. You can always reach out to guys like Chris Fleming online. He's in Illinois area, and he's very good at trying to reach out and help, especially when kids are involved.
Okay.
There's also househealing.com, and that's David Franklin Farkas. He's been a guest on our show.
I've been there, but thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, Heather. All right. She has no tolerance for my shenanigans. That's an old song, man. Wow.
I don't want to say how old, but it's very old.
Gets old.
It's very old.
That's like mid-70s?
Yes.
Yeah, wasn't that around, that was around Charlie's Angels time, because I think one of the Angels used to be in that commercial.
Yes, it was.
Wow. Bam!
It's Shelley
Bam!
Hack, I believe.
That's why I'm never going to find a woman. All I can remember is stuff from the 70s. All right. Well, that's it. We're wrapping up with our final earworm of the night.